Live. Can anybody hear me? Or no? Let me see here.
It says Wayne County Audit's live right now. It just popped up on my notification for you.
Click on it.
So there it goes. It went live.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can I be heard through the...
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Then I'm good to go. So hello everybody. We're in Inkster, Michigan. We are at the Inkster City Hall. We're going to be filing a FOIA for the May 19th and July 10th incidents. And we're going to be getting hopefully some information, although I do suspect, just a hunch, guys, we're not going to get that information until we go to U.S. District Court in Detroit. That's probably the only way that we're going to get the truth, the information that we're looking for. Because like I said, the city of Wayne had already withheld discovery for over 6 months, right? My second counsel that I had to fire, Jermaine Warwick, he had requested video discovery, warrants, all applicable, information, CAD reports, dispatch records, you name it, he requested it. And the city of Wayne still hasn't complied with that order that the judge, James Plakas, had asked, or James Plakas had stipulated, had demanded the city of Wayne release all the requested video discovery and paper discovery, right? And we still have not received that. So now we're going to the Inkster City Hall here, and we're going to be trying to see what we can come up with. We're still waiting on the response from Westland, and Canton has denied all involvement, Canton Township, right? And we're talking about May 19th. That was the climax of this this feud, this dispute, if you will. It definitely wasn't Romulus who responded. Westland was definitely clearly there on May 19th when they broke into my house for the third time. The third break-in was the biggest break-in out of 5, right? There was 5 break-ins total. March 28, 2024, May 9th, 2025, May 19th, 2025, July 5th, 2025, and then July 10th, 2025. And this third break-in, guys, was really, like I said, the climax of this whole saga, right? And so there were multiple police departments that were called out, right? The city of Wayne responded, right, with their fire department, and then they called out the city of Westland, who responded with several police cruisers. And then it appears that there was a third police department, kind of like a phantom police department, that responded on May 19th. And we were able to uncover Westland, obviously, from the video, but then there was a mystery one. And we went down to Canton Township here, which neighbors Wayne, which I'm not too far from, like a half a mile. And they weren't able to, they said just point blank that it wasn't them, right? That they didn't respond to that call. So we've checked with Romulus, and we know Romulus because they have a different police uniform and presence. And it wasn't Romulus. We checked with them, as they claim it was not Romulus. So the only one left is Inkster. Inkster is the only other city that borders the city of Wayne. And so now we're here in Inkster to uncover what exactly happened on May 19th on Glenwood Road in Wayne, Michigan. We're gonna uncover what happened. So
Good luck with that one.
but I've always preferred dealing with Inkster. I haven't dealt with them very much, but Inkster is a fairly decently ran city. Obviously has its problems, but the city of Inkster shits on the city of Wayne when it comes to customer service and transparency and accountability. Obviously, none of them are perfect, right? They all have their flaws and they all have their unique challenges, right? But you're welcome. But the city of Inkster, from my limited experience, has been relatively easy to deal with, as has the city of Romulus. Westland, we're kind of 50-50 on, leaning more towards the Wayne way, which is not good, right? But the city of Wayne is by far the most dysfunctional entity, right? We're talking beyond government or municipality. We're just talking entity. They're the most difficult one to deal with. The city of Wayne is, so by far. I mean, it's not even close. Township, state government, federal government, military, and my 32 years of life experience, right? Which obviously I haven't. I'm not Christopher Columbus. I haven't circled the globe 3 or 4 times over. But let's just say, like, I've seen a thing or two, and I've been around some environments and a lot of authority, and I've never seen something to the depths of the city of Wayne. And it's deeply troublesome. And May 19th was the most troublesome event because that had by far the highest police presence. And so you're welcome. But now we're here at the city of Wayne, or city of Inkster rather, and we're gonna try to see what we can uncover. So, hello. Do you guys have a FOIA form? Yeah. You guys have a form?
Yes, This one's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at this though. Very nice. They have the city clerk. The city clerk card and the mayor card readily available. That's a nice touch. We do appreciate that. We very much appreciate that. But the city clerk and the mayor of Inkster, we like the transparency. We like knowing who's in charge, who's accountable. Certainly makes me feel a little bit better as a. Oh, yeah. I'm just looking for a FOIA.
You need to complete it for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to make sure I use the right form. Thank you so much. And do I have to drop this off physically or can I email it?
You can email it, but you can email it to clerk at City of Inkster or to FOIA, which was on the online. But you can email it back if you don't.
Or just drop it off.
Either or.
Okay. You said it's available online too?
Yes, sir.
Oh wow, perfect. That's
You
awesome.
can complete it online and return it online if you want, but since you got the paper copy.
Okay.
Either way, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Wow. That was extraordinarily, unbelievably helpful, right? The transparency, they got a nice form here. The city of Inkster. And they got a nice little form here. Yeah, I mean, it's just the difference, right? It's like we all, people in the state of Michigan will rag on Wayne County, and Wayne County certainly has its problems. It's the biggest county in the state of Michigan. But Wayne County also has a lot of good municipalities and good people, and people that, they're trying to do the right things, right? A lot of these municipalities, as we saw with the former mayor of Detroit, a lot of corruption in Wayne County and Detroit, and the surrounding municipalities, unfortunately, have also been victim of. The people of those municipalities have been the victims of corruption. But good people do run for office, and they do try to invoke positive change in their community, and they try to make as many wrongs as they can right. Like if you're someone who moves into a city and then you run for office and you win that position, and now your responsibility is to help your community in meaningful, impactful ways, and part of that is wronging rights, like when rights are violated, when proper protocol isn't followed, when standards aren't met, you know, it's up to the people, right? The people have to vote. They have to vote in new leadership. And I've never interacted with you know, these people right here on this card, but just the fact that they're willing to put their information out there and make it easily digestible, and then, you know, for a very polite woman to tell me and be very helpful to me, right, and to give me the forms and all the information that I need, to make it whatever's most convenient for me, right? I mean, that's customer service, and that's the type of stuff that I expect out of the city of Wayne, and that's just unfortunately what we don't have. We have, you know, a bailiff smoking cigs right in front of the entrance. We have, you know, elected judge who's not following judicial process and who's just abusing the legal process because somebody said a bad word, right? And, you know, again, right, as I explained to you guys previously, I'm a social scientist. I have a master's degree in industrial organizational psychology. And part of my training is kind of being able to sniff this type of stuff out, these inefficiencies in businesses and government. And, you know, that's what I studied for my whole life. You know, that's what I was trained in the military to do. That's what, you know, that's what this moment in time has, you know, that's what led up to this moment in time, right? Was my undergraduate from Georgia Military College, my military background and training and experiences. And then, you know, obviously my undergraduate degree, we already mentioned that, but, you know, business management, right? That's what I studied, and I studied paralegal studies. And so, not to say I'm a paralegal or a lawyer or a business genius or anything like that, but let's just say I've learned a thing or two. And then, of course, I got my graduate degree from Grand Canyon University in industrial organizational psychology. And, you know, that's where I really learned what I wanted to do with my life, which was to, you know, expose and bring transparency to the masses, right? So normal everyday people can see, right? Like, you're a normal everyday taxpayer, normal everyday resident, citizen, what have you, and you just want to know where your money's going. You want to know where your money's going and your neighbor's money is going. You know, everybody wants to know what they're supporting, right? What their hard-earned dollars are supporting. And you know, as I said again before, the city of Wayne is adamantly against people like me and others filming and recording them in their duties, right? I mean, we've clearly seen that, you know, it's led to bond violations, right? Because I filmed the police officer, or I, you know, went to City Hall to film a ballot box, right, on election day, right, which is your civic duty, right? You should ensure that nobody's tampering or messing with these ballot boxes. But then you're being charged with a bond violation, right? The order is don't enter any city buildings. That's the court order. And so you're in a parking lot recording a ballot box, and then they try to violate you, right? Because you're recording a ballot box. So it's just crazy. It's crazy town. It's clown world. And I'm so glad you guys are here to see it firsthand, right? So you guys can look at it and see, oh, Mr. McFarland, yes, while he does have PTSD and he's had a TBI and he's dyslexic and he has ADHD, but Mr. McFarland has his wits about him, and he sees what's going on, and you know, he's articulate, and he makes, you know, some sort of sense here, where enough people are interested in, you know, now we have 11 people and more thumbs up. Killjoy 3096 said hi. How you doing, Killjoy? G Wiz 5252 yup. I don't know what you're yupping to, but I appreciate it. 2 thumbs up to you, sir. Thank you for the engagement, sir or ma'am. You know, we don't want to offend anyone how they identify. I do like to mock people. That includes everybody sometimes, because, you know, comedy is the best form of medicine, and you know, I like to add a little bit of comedic flair onto these videos whenever I can, whenever I you know, am feeling what's the word I'm looking for, whenever I'm feeling frisky or feeling, you know, most at peace, right? But yeah, we're just leaving the city of Wayne, or the city of Inkster, rather, City Hall, and
There, Byron, Nola.
have no issues whatsoever, right? Have no issues, and that's how it should be, right? And so if we do have an issue, of course, we can just call or email and say, hey, just want to get some clarification, and I suspect you'll get an immediate response. There won't be any funny games, and there won't be any, ducking and dodging, bobbing and weaving, right? Like, that's the City of Wayne's tactic, is to bob and weave their way through this stuff. And what they end up doing is just exposing, just again, to the world, how evil and vindictive and retaliatory. That's the key theme with the City of Wayne, is retaliatory, hostile workplace and retaliatory behavior towards political critics, right? Mark Blackwell politically criticized the City of Wayne, and look what happened to him. Anthony Miller publicly criticized the City of Wayne. Look what's happening to him. Christopher Sanders, former councilman Christopher Sanders. Anthony Miller was a former councilman. He had to resign because of all the sexual harassment and abuse he suffered from the City of Wayne, because he dared to expose to you guys the truth about the City of Wayne back in the 2018 Independent Workplace Assessment. And he released it unredacted to the Michigan State Police because he just couldn't, live with what he was seeing. And so he wanted the world to know about it, and the City of Wayne retaliatorily sued him as a result of that, and have tried to ruin his life. And they ran him out of office because of sexual discrimination is what it was. And then Christopher Sanders, he was another critic of the City of Wayne, and he was a former councilman, and very decent man from all accounts, from what I can tell. I've heard a lot about him, good and bad. But as far as his interactions with me, those have always been positive, productive, and polite. So I really can't say anything bad about. I can't say anything bad about Christopher Sanders that I can confirm, right? That I know without a doubt. And so I wouldn't want to, like I said, speak from the side of my mouth, so to speak. But no, Christopher Sanders, he went against the City of Wayne and went against John Racy in particular, the current mayor. And wherever. And he found out, right? He found out, just like Mark Blackwell and Anthony Miller is finding out, Christopher Sanders found out. And just like me, right? I began to criticize the City of Wayne back in July of 2014. After I had several bad experiences. I had only lived in the City of Wayne for a few months, right? And I had several bad experiences and negative encounters, and I was the victim of the City of Wayne's incompetence. And, I had to, of course, do something, or say something rather, after they murdered John Zook Jr., a disabled combat veteran, on June 24th of 2024. They murdered this brilliant man, this amazing father. They murdered this man, executed him in cold blood. And, that just didn't sit right with me. And so I was doing an aquatherapy pond project prescribed through the VA anyways. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to name it after John Zook Jr., because John Zook Jr. is a real badass. John Zook Jr. is a real hero. And, I want John Zook Jr.'s name to be remembered in the history books for all time in Wayne, Michigan. So as long as Wayne, Michigan is a thing, I want John Zook Jr.'s name to be at the forefront of the history books. Because what happened to John Zook Jr. can happen to any one of us. Make no mistake about it. That was an execution that day. And anyone who thinks otherwise can suck my dick to the balls and choke and fucking slip on a banana peel. And of course, we say that metaphorically. We would never wish harm upon anybody, of course. We're all Christians and good people. But we are going to talk, from the heart, and we're going to talk in a way that's real and authentic, right? To fully convey the gravity of the situation that presents us, right? When combat veterans are murdered in cold blood, and then there's a cover-up, and then the same officer who murdered this combat veteran comes to my residents, you know, and in my opinion, to murder me, right? Or to do great bodily harm to my family, right? To murder my Fourth Amendment, to murder my 14th Amendment, to murder the sanctity of my household, the peace, quiet in my household. So we're all traumatized from those multiple unwarranted and non-codified enforced break-ins, right, of my property. You know, me and my entire family are forever traumatized by the antics that were displayed by the City of Wayne Police Department, because we know the history of the City of Wayne Police Department, and we know what they've done and what they're capable of, and we know what they're still doing. We know what the City Council did in 2018 when it was exposed rampant corruption from the City of Wayne, from their police department and their City Council. Rampant and widespread corruption, retaliatory workplace, retaliatory culture, right? Hostile culture, where if somebody spoke out or spoke their minds or gave their opinion and it was contrary to the status quo, well, those people had to pay at all fucking costs, right? Those people had to pay at all costs, and that's what the City of Wayne has continually done time and time and time again. And it caught up to them in the Mark Blackwell versus Lisa Nocerini 2022 case. It finally caught up to them. And then it's catching up to them again in the Anthony Miller versus City of Wayne 2024 case, or City of Wayne versus Anthony Miller 2024. And it's catching up to them. It's finally caught up to them in the City of Wayne versus McFarland. Because I'm that crazy motherfucker that will pull the corkscrew out on you. Pull the plug out, right? I'll pull the corkscrew out, and I will just say, hey, everyone, let's look and see what the City of Wayne's been up to for the last 10 years. Let's see what they've been up to. And I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be wanting retribution. And restitution, rather, not retribution. Restitution, I apologize. Restitution. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to want restitution for all the wrongs that the City of Wayne has committed against them or people they know or family members, right? Or just complete strangers, right? Someone just passing through Wayne, you know. So no, we're going to take this very seriously, because it is serious. This is our constitutional rights. These are the rights that our forefathers have fought and died for time and time again over. And I think we owe it to them more than anybody to make sure that their efforts and sacrifices do not go in vain. That their efforts and sacrifices are upheld. Because if the 29th District Court and the 35th District Court aren't going to uphold our rights, and the City of Wayne Police Department and the Fire Department and their contracted city attorneys at GMH Law, if they're not going to uphold our rights, well, then we're going to demand our rights are upheld. And we're not going to stop talking until our rights are upheld. And if Diane Webb, the city manager, who's supposed to know the law,
Flip a bitch. Over there it is.
and she's supposed to know due process, and she's the top person in the city, and then she's telling you, oh, it's over my head, right? It's over my head. And then it's over Brita O'Leary's head too, right? It's over everybody's head, right? Because it's ruled by committee, right? Ruled by committee. And you know, that's what they hide behind as a shield, right? To you know, that qualified immunity shield, right? Where they can sit there and go, yeah, you know, we may have violated the fuck out of your rights, but yeah, I'm not from Wayne County Cardinals. I'm from Montucky, Michigan, buddy. I know you don't know where that's at, and you don't need to know where it's at. Nobody needs to know where Montucky, Michigan is. But Montucky, we do things a little differently. And what we do in Montucky especially is we call out bullshit. And the court system in Montcalm County, they're decent. I've you know, had family members that I've had to interact with them over the years, and they've always been fair and they've always been cordial. And they might want something out of you, like they might want some money out of you, right? But they don't want blood, right? They're not looking for blood, and you know, they're not looking to create generational trauma against people and their families, right? I mean, they just, you know, the punishment for the most part fits the crime, right? In Montcalm County. Well, it doesn't fit it in Wayne County, but people in Montucky, Michigan, right? we just have a sense of justice, and we have a sense of what's right and wrong, morality, and decency, and we don't we understand that in certain situations, you're gonna have feuds and you're gonna have family disputes and what have you, but the punishment ultimately has got to fit the crime, right? And if there is no crime to commit, well, then no punishment is no punishment is appropriate, right? So that's my position, and I thank you guys for your time again, for joining us, for being interested in this, right? Because I've never been involved in politics, I've never been involved in civics, and I personally just the shit really makes me depressed, and it disgusts me what it's become, right? And that's the main reason why that me and none of my family, like my brother's never been involved in politics. He's apolitical, and I used to be apolitical too, until I started looking at 2016, 2020, the election of 2024. I started to get engaged in it a little bit because it became more and more important to my everyday life. But make no mistake about it, guys, your biggest enemy towards freedom, you have, as an American citizen, you have the right of liberty in the pursuit of happiness, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? And so you'll find, or at least I did, and I think many of you, especially, I'm speaking to the younger people, you'll discover over time that your biggest enemy, besides yourself, of course, is going to be your local government. Your local government, the government that's in your same zip code, that's the government that's going to give you the most amount of problems and hit most close to home, right? And so when your own local government is, woefully and vindictively trying to persecute you, and they're trying to take away your house, they're trying to cause you great emotional distress. They already have caused me great emotional distress. Everyone in my household, great emotional distress. And, things that it's hard for me to even talk about this shit, because it really makes me just want to cry, and it makes me just want to just lose my shit, man, because, I've fought and bled and done so much for this fucking country over my life, and I continue to do it. And to be treated in this fashion, man, is just, it's hard to comprehend, man. It really is. And I'm trying to keep it together for my family, for my two sons, for my wife, because my wife's never seen me, how I was or how I'd been before, right? The Army, the military was a very traumatizing, traumatic experience for me. But I learned a lot, and, I wouldn't change it for the world. And I've never been so conflicted and torn on something in my life than watching what I watched in the military. And I'll share bits and pieces of it with you guys, but it's really hard. But I continuously, time and time again, watched wounded soldiers, wounded service members get royally and utterly fucked over by higher command, by the system in general. I was in like I said, my experience in the military was anything but unique, but it was a necessary experience, and it, more importantly, I need to speak about it. I need to talk about it, and I need to make others aware of what I witnessed and what I went through, and kind of the games, right, that are played. And it's one side of it, right? It's not the entire side of the military. Obviously, there's 100 different sides to it. There's 6 different branches now. There's Reserve, there's National Guard. There's a lot of different layers of the onion, but being active duty, being right in the midst, right? And just seeing the process unfold. It was truly a shock to the senses, and being concussed and knocked out cold several times, suffering, from brain damage, traumatic brain damage, and then learning that the Army likes to cover that up too, right? And it was just a lot of shit, man. And then I get thrown back out in the civilian world, and I'm just told, hey, go find yourself, go live your life, right? And it's easier said than done, obviously, or we wouldn't have so many veterans that commit suicide. We have more veterans. Like, let me just paint a picture for you guys. We have more veterans that kill themselves, or have killed themselves, than the entire Vietnam War, right? We've probably, at this point, no exaggeration, we've had more veterans kill their own selves than all of the wars throughout U.S. history in total numbers. I guarantee we're getting close, which is, million plus people. The simple fact of the matter is there's a reason why our nation's veterans, some of the most patriotic people you'll ever meet in your life, some of the most conscientious people, right? People that are completely conscientious, and they realize the cost of freedom, and they respect the cost of freedom, and they genuinely try to do the right thing at any given moment at all times, right? And they really truly try to fulfill that oath that they pledged. And when your own country, right, seemingly turns against you, or maybe not your country, right? I don't think my country's turned against me at all. As the YouTube analytics clearly show from Accountability for All, 99.9% favorability rating from the people. So anyone who's watched the YouTube video from anywhere around the world, 99.9% favorability. So in other words, 99.9% that the people have spoken and the people are on my side. And so I don't believe, that my country's given up on me, but my government certainly has, and my local government is actively trying to kill me and sabotage my efforts, and harass, annoy, and abuse me. And, to put roadblocks in my way after roadblock after roadblock, and set me up for failure, and not operate in good faith, right? Because how do you commit a crime that doesn't exist, right? And then how do you obstruct a crime that doesn't exist? How do you obstruct the enforcement of a crime that doesn't exist? Well, of course, we all know the obvious answer to that. You can't. And so thank God, like I said again, that the city of Wayne is so incompetent, and their incompetence finally caught up to them. And so now they have, multiple lawsuits that they got to deal with, and good lawsuits, very well stated, very to the point, very here's the evidence, and here it all is. The fact of the matter is this pool was approved, this fire pit was approved when I bought the property, and then retroactively 3 years later, 2 or 3 years later, the city of Wayne retroactively went in and started enforcing their ordinances after they already had given me a certificate of occupancy. Well, what is a certificate of occupancy? Well, that means that the house, as it currently sits, is compliant with all ordinances and all codes, and it's been inspected by, 10 plus people, and it's good to go. You can sell the house, you can transfer the property, you can transfer ownership of the property, and it's as basic as you can get, right, guys? And so you got a certificate of occupancy in one hand, and then you have a non-codified open burn policy that was never enacted into law, that was never ratified. You have that in the other hand, and you're like, okay, you're looking at both of them, and then you see the city of Wayne just breaking into your house time and time again. Well, why are they doing that? Well, as the police officer said on May 9th, well, have you guys hey, do you guys know who this is, right? And then May 19th, I think it was, or it was May 9th, they started talking about my Facebook videos. Oh, they're going to end up in Facebook. And then one of the officers is like, where's the pond at? Oh, the pond's over here. The pond's over there, right? So obviously, how would they know about the pond, right? The only place that I announced the pond was on Facebook. So they're watching my Facebook videos, right? And then the same Facebook account that they got deleted. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, here's the day-to-day, right? Here's how you get prepared for it. Here's what you're up against. Yeah, I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to have a stencil. I'm going to be working with Josh Abrams at Accountability so we can get the production quality higher. So we can be, while I'm speaking, we can be showing, the documentation in live time. Because I like to not edit things. I've never edited any of my videos. And I do that for a reason. The reason is I want people to see the good and the bad of this. I want people to see the good and I want people to see the bad. And I want to demonstrate to the world just how, because the city keeps using this word. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this, right? That's the word they keep using. I'm obsessed with this case and the city of Wayne and its workers. And I'm obsessed and I'm obsessed. That's their verbiage they keep using in the transcripts in court. That we're still waiting on, by the way, that we've been waiting on. So we have to, go to court and have the judge rule that those transcripts should be released, I guess, because the court transcriber who works right next to the judge doesn't want to release them. She wants to get her thousands of dollars out of it, I guess. So yeah, the court wants to milk it for all it's worth, even though I'm on a fixed income. And I can't afford to pay $400 or $500, especially when I have 2 kids and, a pregnant wife to take care of, 3 kids actually. 2 of them being disabled, and being disabled myself, and the VA's not giving me what they should be giving me, which is, I'm not going to get into it, but they should be paying me double or triple what they're actually paying me, is what my lawyer at Benjamin Krause Law, that's what he's calculated, is that I'm being screwed by about 60-70%. Although I'm very blessed that the VA compensation system exists to help out disabled veterans. Otherwise, I would be dead. There's no doubt about it. I would be dead, and I would have been John Zook or Charlie Kirk or, what have you. So dealing with the city of Wayne, especially their police and their fire department and, of course, their city council, just dealing with the city of Wayne in general, their courts, 29th District Court, Brito O'Leary. Yeah, I mean, it's really suicide, and it's really... you're playing with your life, right? But I just want to reiterate, I'm not suicidal. I love my family very much. I love my 3 children. I love my household. I love myself. And I would never, ever, 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 ever want to kill myself or harm another human being physically unless I was absolutely forced to and I had no other choice but to deploy Second Amendment self-defense, right? That is what it's always been. I have a conscience, right? I hear right and wrong. I hear voices in my head in the sense that, the devil talks to me and God talks to me, and that's called having a conscience, right? When you have a voice in your head telling you, hey, you should do something, and then you have a voice in your head telling you you should not do something, and you should do this instead, or you should do this and here's why, right? Those are the 2 voices I have in my head. And so, I listen to those, and of course I make my own decision because I am a autonomous person, but I don't consent with anything that the city of Wayne has done to me. All of it's been completely unlawful from the very beginning. There never was any probable cause because there never was a law to actually enforce, right? So there can't be probable cause, which means there can't be interference, which means telling the police to stop breaking the law and stop violating your rights. Well, that's fair, right? That's not a threat, right? To tell the government, stop violating my rights and leave me alone, and you're trespass from my property, and if you want to come on my property, make sure you have a warrant signed by a judge, right? That's reviewable as soon as it's written, and we'll go from there, right? And then I'll comply with only what's said in the warrant, nothing else. But other than that, no, I'm not complying with warrantless searches and seizures. You can go get a warrant, and then you can go slip on a banana peel and break your fucking neck, or you can just go suck your dick, or go suck your own dick, or go suck somebody else's dick, right? And leave me the fuck alone. That's just what it is, right? Too many people fought and died for my rights, and too many people, too many good people, right? Too many people that are way better than the city of Wayne ever could dream of being currently as it sits. Not the people, right? Lots of very fine people in the city of Wayne. The